Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I wanted to show you something. It looks like we've kind of bounced off of 1.2 something trillion or so, and then we've crossed back over 1.3 trillion in the market. Of course, everything's gotten slammed and all of that. But I want to show you, many people out there may not like to see perspective on a day like today, but this is how I see things all the time. This is what your returns on the year are for all of these digital assets, even though you've experienced the last week or so of negatives. This is what the returns are on the year, okay? Since I'm a long-term holder, these are the things I look at. So my XRP on the year is up 200%. So I'm not crying in my beer or whatever. I don't like beer, I like wine, but I'm not crying in it. What I'm doing is accumulating. I feel like my knowledge of where I need to put my money in digital assets has only increased as far as what I really feel good about, and that's kind of what I went over in the last video. So I'm pretty emotionless with this because I know that the value's in the protocol, and I know there are a handful of protocols that are going to change the entire world of finance for the next 1 to 200 years. And those protocols are the ones I was talking about this morning. Okay, now let's go. This made me laugh. This is from Cointelegraph. Say something, Elon Musk. Dog holders are waiting for Elon Musk to swoop in as their token continues to dip. Since his SNL appearance, is Musk going to show up and save the day? So if you're a dog coin holder, this is what you've been reduced to, is you're waiting on a celebrity to say something positive about your digital asset. And that's why I said no utility, no value, and these meme coins and all of it, chasing all these green candles, that's a mistake. It's a dead end road. The only road to look at, in my opinion, and for me, are these protocols that you are seeing documentation. You're seeing these really huge investors, VCs, and companies backing them. And you're not just some guy who's apparently a genius who is saying it just to toy with the public. We're looking at real things, okay? XRP being my favorite. Okay, now moving along, CEO Michael Saylor bet MicroStrategy's future on how much Bitcoin it could buy. Now Bitcoin's price has been falling, and so have MSTR shares, the MicroStrategy shares. So he's literally hitched his entire company to this thing. So he better hope that it works out. Now, Mike Novogratz was doing his rounds on CNBC because since he's a Bitcoin Ethereum maxi, he's one of the only people that's allowed on CNBC to talk about digital assets. I'm sure that's no coincidence. Watch.
So Mike, I'm listening to you, and I do think Gary Gensler understands. And one of the things that I think works in your favor is you've got a company called Galaxy Digital that's based on crypto. We've got Coinbase that came out with a huge market cap. You've got Jack Dorsey and Square and PayPal and all these vested interests in the U.S. government not putting the complete kibosh on something like this. But then again, you've got a government that's fortunes are so dependent on the dollar being the currency of choice for global trade that I think they might have to offset those two concerns. They don't obviously want to put a nascent, innovative industry out of business, but then again, they've got a vested interest in Bitcoin not displaced.
Okay, we don't need to listen to all that, but I put up here that, remember the article I was showing you, Galaxy Digital will serve as a liquidity provider on Bitcoin futures for Goldman as securities firm re-enters the cryptocurrency markets. They just happened to enter the futures markets, re-enter the Bitcoin futures markets right as about the time the market's tanking. What a coincidence. I said, I would have asked him how many of his white shoe boy friends at Goldman went short on Bitcoin before this drop. That's exactly what I would have asked him. Okay, and he talks about regulation and how he knows regulation is coming. I'm not going to go into all that. I want to show you this. This is at the end of one of the segments he was on. Now, this may not be NBC freaking out, but I've never heard the guy say he was short in any form or fashion on Bitcoin, but he says it here.
Right, and so, like I always said, I've always hedged my crypto portfolio with a big short, 5-year position. We'll see.
Are you stacking yet? Are you?
They immediately went to commercial when he said his big short, his 5-year-old short. Then here is Jim Cramer, and we'll talk about him a little bit today too.
Do you think that there are concerns that I was trying to? There are so many. I'm like 6 degrees away from trying to figure out why there might be worries about a slowdown, which would put the 10-year yield at 1.4, and I can't really get to why. What's the slowdown about? Variance, or is it about the Fed finally stepping in, and is it about higher taxes? Where's the global slowdown fears coming from?
I think that the stimulus money runs out, the unemployment benefits run out, people have to start paying rent. They don't want to go to work at the jobs because the jobs aren't where they are. So the companies that need people then have to start paying more. We get wage inflation. And so then the Fed has to slam on the brakes. I mean, that's really the kind of bear story that I keep getting. You know what? That story just doesn't hold enough water. Let's see how Powell handles the questions. But again, I just think things are okay, Joe. I really do. I mean, the snapback yesterday was incredible. We have we have big rebounds Friday. We have to watch that. I'll ask you
one other thing, and that is, let's say you got your eye on another farm. Is there a place you'd buy Bitcoin to try to make the money? At what level would you re-enter, since you're not sure whether it's a good idea with what the Chinese are doing? Is there a place you'd re-enter to try to fund another farm purchase?
Well, I think that you need to see some people who love it break ranks. I have not heard a person who loves it less. And I think that you and I both know that the bottom comes when people say, you know what, I've had it. And I've not heard that at all. So I'm kind of, let's wait to see some people give it up. All and right. By the way, I know Mike said that he doesn't see a lot of margin buying, but I think... Okay, I just want to show you a little bit of that. But here's what has been catching my attention with Jim Cramer. Remember, this guy is not, I repeat, not a guy that just goes on to CNBC every day and says what he wants to say. The reason I know that is because back during the financial crisis, he told the truth because he was screaming at the TV, and he says, he's talking about the Fed and all these people. He says, you know nothing. And they reined him in, and they've had him reined in ever since. And actually, that Rick Santelli guy called him out the other day, I think, and he said, you told the truth when you said that. Well, anyway, this guy toes the line at CNBC. We've seen it time and time again. And so I've heard him bring up Tether at least 4 or 5 times over the last few weeks. So I decided to go into Jim Cramer's Tether feed, and Tether feed, go into his Twitter feed and look. I did a search for the word Tether, and it turns out that Jim Cramer started floating out questions about Tether right around May 25th. Okay, May 25th, he starts floating these things out. I've done about 12 hours research on Tether, another 88 hours, and I will be there. But if Anthony Pompliano says Tether's suboptimal, that would help. Pomp doesn't dodge things. He tackles them head on. Just you wait. So he keeps on bringing Tether up. If you care about Tether, watch tonight's program. As we go through these, here he says, Pomp, does Tether matter to you? And then he goes, Pomp, nah, he's the real deal. He thinks that Tether's no good. He will say it. And he's like, it's almost like he's baiting Pomp, trying to bring him out into this thing. And then he goes, here he goes, I'm pretty near the end of my Tether. Yes, it isn't like I need to be more publicly, da-da-da. And then he says, how do you feel about Tether and its Bahamas Bank? Do you like them? Please help. Doing research here and trust you. Is this a warning for Tether? The group could
could keep taking a hit. Stay focused on Tether. He keeps bringing up looking out for Tether on the Chinese crackdown. Tether, Tether, Tether. That tells me that someone has whispered into Jim Cramer's ear. That's what I see when I see that. And then there was this today. And right here, he says, the Gold Telegraph says, regardless of price action, everyone should be focused on Tether. As I've been discussing, this is a very important variable, and things are getting very real now. Who is up for a story? And he says, I would like to kickstart the story with this scene. This is from The Big Short. Okay? Big Short, they had this Jenga set, and they had put all the different types of packaged mortgage-backed securities, and they start pulling the things out and say, when such and such happens, these will all fall apart. So now he's talking about Tether. Let's start. According to its website, Tether is incorporated out of Hong Kong, has 13 employees. Tether is amongst the global giants Vanguard and BlackRock in the commercial paper market. Throughout its history, Tether has touted itself as a stablecoin. This stablecoin is designed as such, 1 USDT, 1 US dollar. However, according to disclosure, it has only backed 3.87% cash, which is 75.85% equals 2.9%. Vital piece of plumbing for global crypto market. Why is Tether a vital piece of plumbing for global crypto market? This is because traders capture arbitrage for when a bank wire is unavailable and not fast enough. As of right now, 60% of stable coins in the world are USDT. Tether is the third largest crypto in the world, 1 Bitcoin to Ethereum. Interestingly, I've noticed since the beginning of June, no new USDT has been minted. Velocity is down, yes, but why? The why could be big. Next, Tether is heavily concentrated in terms of ownership, but I will not make everyone bored from ranting about that. He goes on, Tether enables everyone to keep track of the wealthiest Tether wallets. Currently, Binance and Huobi are the leaders. This loops back to the 2.9% cash backing of this alleged one-to-one backed stablecoin. What really backs these reserves is U.S. commercial paper, half of its reserves. In fact, disclosures show that the holdings of companies' short-term debt make it the 7th largest in the world. Nobody knows the specific commercial paper holdings due to its lack of transparency and lack of regulation. This further validates why a product such as this offering poses a risk to the crypto space, but most importantly, could trigger a major event within the financial system. Anyway, it goes on and on and on. I didn't write it, Gold Telegraph did. Just wanted to bring it to your attention. Now, this is what I also want to bring to your attention. Do you remember in the video that I showed this morning? It was a video, and I've kept on telling you on this channel, this thing's one of two things. The SEC lawsuit against Ripple is not for the protection of investors. I don't feel protected, never have. I feel like they literally punched me in the face since this thing started, okay? And you do too, I know. So it's one of two things. This is either a political ploy to hold Ripple over a barrel or to slow them down, or you're watching a movie, okay? This, what I'm about to show you, goes under the category of watching a movie, okay? But that's as far as I'm going with that. But what I want to show you here, in the first half of this clip, Clayton goes on about how ICOs are bad, and I was making the point that he gives Ethereum a free pass, even though he says that not under my watch, you're not going to get away with doing an ICO. And then he says this.
Forward, and the area that is of particular interest to me and many of those regulators that Gary mentioned is the payment system. We all recognize that our payment system is inefficient. Domestically, it's inefficient. Internationally, it's extremely inefficient. So if we don't work and use technology to address those inefficiencies, the market is going to do it for us. And I think we'll like the outcome much better if we as regulators proactively enter that payment space, ensuring that all the time proven safeguards around AML, bank secrecy, anti-terrorism, and the like are there. So I see.
So basically, in that whole clip, he's doing nothing but describing Ripple, the company that he sues a month or two later. This comes out today, okay? Here's the tweet. This is from Volanti, who is a Ripple partner. Volanti is proud to have contributed to the U.S. Faster Payments Council's recent paper on cross-border Faster payments. Get your copy now. Here is what it looks like. Cross-border faster payments, okay? And let's look at what this is. The U.S. Faster Payments Council leadership includes executive director and board of directors. As principles-based organizations, its structure operations are designed to adhere to fundamental values of inclusiveness and fairness. There's those words again. Flexibility and responsiveness. Transparency. And the FPC board of directors is comprised of voting members that represent 6 membership segments. The path to faster payments ubiquity starts with leadership. So this was literally put together to work on faster payments in the United States. Go back to this. I'm looking through the document. This is put out June 2021, okay? Craig DeWitt from Ripple. Look at the people that are on this. These are the members, the working group. Federal Reserve System, Wells Fargo, I'm just naming some, Walmart, Volanti, MasterCard, Wise, which is TransferWise, Swift, Federal Reserve Retail Payments Office. The Federal Reserve Retail Payments Office is there, right there working with Craig DeWitt. But that wasn't all of it. Also this. Business to business, B2B, high value, bank transfers, wire Swift bank transfer, service provider, TransferWise, Ripple, Payoneer. Why is Ripple on the U.S. Faster Payments Council if we're in a situation where the government is after Ripple? Riddle me that. And I want you to just look through here. Used to, there was a guy from Ripple on this board, of one of the board, either advisory board or something. I didn't see him this time, but you got BNY Mellon. All the people are there. Microsoft, BNY Mellon, the Clearinghouse, MasterCard, Visa, JP Morgan, Fiserv. I mean, you name it, they're there. Nacha, US Bank, Netflix is even on here. Goldman Sachs, ACI Worldwide. Let me remind you that at 3:15 today, you're going to have Greg Kidd and you're going to have JP Tirrett of Uphold, and they're going to be interviewed on the link to Global Investor Conference. You can sign up. Uphold tweeted it out at Uphold Inc. They've got a link. Go register. I'm planning on being in there myself. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that Ripple and Craig DeWitt are working on the U.S. Faster Payments Council, who must be reporting directly to the Federal Reserve because the Federal Reserve has their people in place.